So the new Supreme Court term started recently. We have already seen some pretty decent-sized rejection of cases. Of course, the Supreme Court rejected Alex Jones's appeal of the Sandy Hook verdict. But one of the biggest cases that the Supreme Court, at least as of this recording, is still considering hearing is the case of whether or not Donald Trump is allowed to unilaterally, without congressional approval, enact tariffs around the globe. That leads me to another viewer question. This one comes from Knight6831, who asks, if Trump tariffs are removed by the Supreme Court, do you think the U.S. economy will survive? As I've seen a lot of people saying a collapse is coming. If the Supreme Court removes the tariffs, right, effective immediately, tariffs are all gone, will the economy survive? Absolutely. 100%. The collapse that these experts, most recently, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who said America is, quote, going broke because of Trump's policies. If the Supreme Court were to reverse his tariffs and get rid of them immediately on the spot, we almost go back to normal. We go back to the recovery that we were experiencing as an overall economy, maybe not individually, but as an overall economy. We go back to that recovery that we were in a year ago. What put us in the position we are in today with the skyrocketing grocery prices and, appliances and cars and all that is the tariffs. The rapid inflation we are experiencing right now is the tariffs. So yeah, if all of it goes away, this imminent collapse, perhaps even the recession, poof. Yeah, it really could be that instantaneous. But will the Supreme Court do it? That is a big question. We have seen this court hand down decisions that clearly go against precedent, that go against the Constitution. So there is no telling what they would do. Obviously, the Constitution, the laws of this country is clear as day. When it comes to, does the president have the authority to do this? The answer is no, he doesn't. Like, why are we even considering this? No, he doesn't. But he did it to get the court cases, which, by the way, is the conservative blueprint. You enact something that you know is absolutely illegal, but you've passed it through Congress, you've signed it either at the state level or the federal level, or it's an executive order, but you do it knowing, or gambling, I guess I should say, on the courts saying, oh, no, if you look at it this way, it's actually legal, so yeah, you can do this. That's why they do this. That's how they got Roe versus Wade effectively overturned. They put a law in place they knew couldn't stand, but they knew they had the majority up there at SCOTUS, and that's all that matters. What happens at the appellate level doesn't matter. They just got to get it to the SCOTUS. So they do it. And of course, much to my annoyance, you always have these groups that think they're doing good, and as soon as these bills are signed into law, they file a lawsuit. They don't wait. And I know some people think, well, that's good. That's what they're supposed to do. No, it's not. You don't file a lawsuit if you don't have victims. Because if you don't have victims, you don't have a case. And that way, when you get to the Supreme Court, that makes it more likely that you lose your challenge. And we see it happen all the time. I know these groups mean well. These are good groups with good lawyers. But my God, wait until you have a fucking case before you just immediately challenge it. And you're like, nope, it's illegal. You can't do that lawsuit. There you go. Yay. And you fucking lose every time. Almost every damn time. And it pisses me off, and it should piss you off too. Because if you just wait, and I know the waiting sucks because suffering happens during the wait. But more suffering happens when you file a lawsuit before you even have a case or a client. You have people with, perceived damages that maybe they could possibly experience in the future. That's not a lawsuit, and that's 21 years of the legal profession talking here, folks. So it pisses me off. But that's what the SCOTUS is for. That's why conservatives do it. They know these liberal groups are out there waiting to pull the trigger and file that lawsuit the second the ink dries. And that SCOTUS comes to their rescue every time. And honestly, I think they're going to do that with Trump and his tariffs too.